going behind and beyond the music. It's Real Talk with G-Love and Kenny the Rocker on Florida Man Radio.
Well, I'm not uptight, not unattractive. Turn me on tonight, 'cause I'm radioactive. Well, it's not a fight, and I'm not your captive. Turn me loose tonight, 'cause I'm radioactive. I want to stay with you. To play with you, baby. I want to lay with you, and I want you to know. Got to concentrate.
G-Love, are you ready for this guest?
Yes, I am. Day.
This guy's played with legends like Jimmy Page, Paul Rogers. I mean, he's played with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Jason Bonham. This guy is the Fretless Monster. I'm jelly right now. I'm jellying it right now. The one and only Tony Franklin. How you doing, Tony?
Hello. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Hey, we're great, man. Hey, say hi there, G-Love.
Hi, how are you doing?
Don't be flirting.
G-Love, how about you?
Oh, well, I hear a little bit of an English accent. It's coming out.
Well, there's a little bit left, yeah. But I've been in the States for 30 years, so I hang on to enough just to get me in trouble.
Right.
Pick up the girls.
So Tony, hey, listen, I'm Kenny, by the way. We haven't talked before, but I'll tell you, I am completely blown away by the super group, The Firm. You played with Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers back in the day, right? When did you start playing with those guys? Is that in the late 80s?
No, that was 84 that The Firm got together, and we went through. It was.
Oh, your phone's cutting out on us.
Florida too.
Walk to the light.
Yeah,
you gotta walk to the light.
Your phone's cutting on us bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm just blown away.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it was like you're walking away. It was like, ooh. So, hey,
No.
So, Tony, how did you get that gig with Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers? I mean, I know you were a young man at the time. You must have been freaking out to play with those guys.
I was not, and that's the weird thing because and it's kind of a long story, so I'll keep it brief. But I've been doing quite a bit of work with Roy Harper. Now, Roy Harper is English folk legend. He sings "Have a Cigar" on "Wish You Were Here," Pink Floyd. I'm sure you guys knew that. And of course, on Led Zeppelin 3, there's the song "Hats Off to Harper." And he and Jimmy went way back. Well, Roy was doing an album in 1984, and he called me and said, "Hey, I'm doing another album. You want to be on it?" And I said, "Yeah, of course, anytime, Roy." And so, and Jimmy was playing guitar, and so it just was one of those things where we connected. But here's the weird thing: fast forward to playing with The Firm with Madison Square Garden. It's 1985, April. I still had not heard "Stairway to Heaven." I didn't know any Led Zeppelin.
No.
And that is a long story unto itself, which I'll say. But yeah. And so I was not. To me, it wasn't like, I mean, now it's like knowing how huge and what an icon Jimmy is, and Paul, both of them. But, especially Jimmy coming out of Zeppelin and the first band that he'd been in,
sure.
Led Zeppelin, there was a lot of attention on him. I was not really thinking or aware of all that. All I wanted to do is play a great show. Jimmy Page happened to be the guitarist, Paul Rogers was the vocalist, and we just wanted to make great music. So there was none of that, like, oh my God, I'm playing with Jimmy Page. It wasn't like that. It was just very organic and very natural and relaxed.
Oh, man. I mean, just like I said, I can't believe it. You know, because my favorite guitar player in the world, probably Jimmy Page. My favorite singer in the world, probably Paul Rodgers. I mean, I like the guy from Foreigner as well. You know what I mean? Like Paul Rodgers and him, they're like right there, number 1 and 2. And then even with Chris Slade, I mean, I know he did that run with AC/DC. I'm like, oh, my God, these are like the greatest bands in the world. I mean, I just can't believe at the time you wasn't seeing that. It was just blowing my mind.
No, I wasn't. And it was just, as I say, we just wanted to make great music. And, you know, I was 22. And now I look back and I'm like, how the heck did that happen?
Right.
I was 22 years old. I've been playing professionally and playing gigs for a long time. So I was experienced. But to go from what I was doing before to playing with those guys at that level, it's when I look back now and I'm like, that's crazy. How did that happen?
Yeah, unbelievable.
And I'm glad there are pictures and videos to prove it, because it's like, oh yeah, it did happen. It seems like a dream now. And,
well, you know, I'm a little bit friends with Phil Sasson, bass player.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. He told me a little bit of a story about the Firm with Jimmy Page. You know, trying to get him out of the house and get him going. Because, you know, he had that big gap after Led Zeppelin. He didn't play anything for a while. And then that was, like you said, the big return kind of Jimmy Page. And then obviously Paul Rodgers. I mean, unbelievable. But it's just amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, Phil was doing that gig, and he was going to do it. Well, he got the call from Ozzy Osbourne.
Exactly.
I mean, Jimmy was really going through it with his confidence, and you know, what do you do after Led Zeppelin? I mean, what do you do?
Right.
And so Paul and he go way back, and it was Paul that actually was going around to Jimmy's place and just encouraging him, getting him to play, and kind of bringing him out of his shell. And of course, they did the Arms tour, the Ronnie Lane multiple sclerosis thing in '83. And they kind of got their feet wet with that, and Jimmy's like, yeah, I can do this.
Right.
And, you know, he's. I would see him beforehand, and he just used to get so anxious and so much stage fright going up to the gig, and so it's like it really was for him to get up and do that again.
Right.
It was huge, and so we have to give a lot of kudos to Paul for really coaxing him out of that. And then, of course, on that tour, the Arms tour, they wrote together Midnight Moonlight, which ended up on the second Firm album. And
right.
That was a piece of musically that Jimmy had for many years, since the Zeppelin days. It was never completed. And then it's like, wow, we got something here. Do you want to just go out and do something? And really, it was just to have some fun and just play some music. And I mean, it's not like those guys had anything to prove.
No.
They just wanted to go out and have some fun.
Unbelievable. And then I know you did a run with Whitesnake there too in the 90s, if I'm not correct. I mean, with Coverdale and all that.
Yeah, that was '97, and of course in between that there was a band called Blue Murder with John Sykes and Carmine Appice.
Yep, from Whitesnake and
yeah, and so there's I've been keeping busy with different things. Whitesnake was a ton of fun, and I actually met David Coverdale in '85. He came to a Firm show. Actually, he drove Chris Slade and I down to a gig, the Costa Mesa, the Pacific Amphitheater down there, in the white Jag that, of course, Tawny was doing her aerobics on.
She was rolling.
I mean, great. Now, was David Coverdale easy to work with? Because I know he's the boss, right? I mean, he's like the boss of that thing.
Well, you got to remember, this was '97. It was a few years after those glory days. David and I just have a wonderful, close connection, but we call each other Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, right. I know who that is, yeah.
So, and so we have a very a special connection. Just in fact, we were just on Twitter today blowing each other kisses, to this day. So, I mean, I could see how David, how anybody, you get them on the wrong side, would be difficult to work with. I mean, we all have those days, but for he and I never saw that, and it was always a very harmonious and very grown connection, as you would say.
Right. And then I seen later on you did some stuff with, I don't know if you're still playing with him or not, with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, another very talented guy.
Absolutely, yeah. I played with him for 6 years up until 2017, and then he switched things up, and that was a nice little run of things. Yeah, incredibly talented, yes.
G-Love?
Oh no, I'm just listening.
Just hanging out with Coverdale and Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page.
Yeah, I'm still digesting it.
That's right.
I am.
It's crazy.
I do have a question because I had to be a little educated on what fretless meant. I didn't know what it meant. I even tried to look it up, and then of course Fretless Monster, and I'm going, who gave you this nickname? Do you know, or was it you or somebody else?
Yeah, I came up with it myself.
I told you.
In 2003, back in 2003, I was playing SWR amplification. They were putting me in their catalog, and so they wanted to put Tony Franklin and then credits was who I played with. And this is 2003. I didn't want to put the firm. I didn't want to put Blue Murder, stuff that was from a decade or so before. I wanted to put something that was a little bit more open and timeless, and so the name literally popped into my head, and I said, well, put Fretless Monster.
Right.
And they said, oh, I like that, and it's just kind of grown from there. And people come up to me and just don't even say my name. Oh, it's the Fretless Monster.
That's crazy. So, Tony, I play bass, not as good as you, obviously. But the thing is, now you actually had a signature fretless bass. What is it, from Fender? Is that where you had it from? You have a signature model?
Yeah. That was introduced in 2006, still in production, which is amazing for a signature model, especially with a company like Fender.
Right.
So we just added a new color this year, the Lake Placid Blue, and so it's an exact replica of the bass that I used with the firm, and except we put an ebony fingerboard on there because I use round wound strings, which a little bit more get that aggressive sound, but they're also a little bit more harsh on the fingerboard.
Right.
So people who don't know the fretless bass. You get the lines, the wire frets that are on a traditional guitar or bass. Well, the fretless bass doesn't have those, so it's just the flat wood, and so those it can be quite aggressive on the wood. So we put on an ebony because it's a lot more durable wood, but it's the same instrument that I played with the firm, and it has that sound, and I'm very grateful. I mean,
go ahead.
It's very humbling and amazing, and still a little surreal to see my name and the bass that I play on the Fender website and part of their lineup and their legacy. It's incredible. It really is.
So hopefully G-Love is hoping that you get some residual off this, because that's very important.
You're being his manager right now?
Yes, I am being his manager.
I tell you, Tony, how did you go I've always seen you play fretless, and a lot of people don't do that. And I just wondered, when did you decide, did you always play fretless? I mean, when did that come into play for you?
Okay, I started on the fretted bass, and I still do work on the fretted bass when it's called for. But I'd been on it about 6 or so years, and then I heard it was Jaco Pastorius, of course.
Wow.
Who resided down in Florida, and he was the fretless bass master, and I heard him, and I said, wow, I have to have a fretless bass. And my style and his are different, of course, although there are certain similarities, but I just heard that sound and the nuances of it, and I thought I have to try that. And I put it into rock, not really thinking, oh, that would be interesting. Why don't I try that? No, it just became my instrument. And I realized it had such a unique voice, especially in rock, and it's really not used that often. And so it's just become my thing, and I love it. I love the nuances of it and the expressiveness. To me, it's like the human voice. The human voice doesn't have frets. If it did, it would be very robotic and kind of stiff. And so the fretless bass has that just very expressive and emotional feel to it. I just love it.
No, it's a great tone. I'll tell you something that I'm going to throw this at you. I had a buddy I was actually in a band with for just like a year back in 1987, and I seen you've been playing with him, a guy named Derek Sherinigan, keyboard player.
Yeah.
I know Derek. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great, and I actually just played on his 8th solo album. I'm the only other artist other than Derek himself that's played on all of his solo albums. So, I've played.
Yeah,
I know
Derek.
him very, very well. He's amazing.
And plus I see you do Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, which is always really nice and fun. I don't know if you got one. Are you doing one this year, or is it kind of changed up because of what's going on?
It's on hold at this point because of lockdowns and everything. But we did 2 at the beginning of this year. We managed to squeeze 2 in January and February. The first one was John Oates and Oreo Speedwagon, and the second one was Deep Purple. We had Ian Pace and Steve Morse, and that was phenomenal, jamming Highway Star with Ian Pace.
I'm sure
that was fantastic.
Another great bass player, by the way, in Deep Purple. Go ahead, G.
I need
Yes.
to ask because the 80s is making a huge comeback. I mean, look, we got to watch a Rat commercial. When is the firm thinking about coming back together? Any possibility?
Oh, I dare you make that happen. Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers are probably busy. I don't know.
No, I think it could happen. We need it to come back.
I have no comment on it other than I think that it would be great timing because back in those days we didn't touch any Led Zeppelin or Bad Coal because they wanted the firm's music to stand by itself, and which I get that. Now you could go back and explore the past catalog. I mean, imagine Jimmy playing some of those free riffs and Paul with some certain Led Zeppelin songs. He would kill them. And so it'll be a lot of fun. There's not been any talk of it. I remain open to it, but I mean, the more the time goes on, the less likely it appears. But I always never say never because
that's
it's
right.
a funny old business, and you never know.
Keep it positive.
Right. Plus, a lot of times you can see Tony Franklin at, I guess you do shows at the Reading the Rock Vault from time to time as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm here, there, and everywhere. And you mentioned Jason Bonham. I was touring with him, did a month with him last summer, opening up for Peter Frampton on his final tour. So, I love creating music. I'm always involved in different situations and all that. And I was off to Japan in 2017 with a huge artist out there, Japanese artist, not known outside of Japan. We did 2.5 months over there, including 5 nights at the Budokan. So I'm keeping very, very busy. I love it. It just never stops for me. And every time I pick up the bass, it's like it's picking it up for the first time, but with 40 plus years experience.
Right. No, God bless you, man. Just keep the rock and roll. Listen, I'm very honored to talk to you, Tony. I mean, I'm a bass guy, so when I look at these guys and the guys you're playing with, I'm getting goosebumps by just looking at it on my print here. And I'm like, oh my God. Man, you had a good life, bro. I mean, I'm just saying you've played with some serious musicians. You can't even go up from there. It's only sideways at that point. You know what I mean? I mean, who's better than Jimmy Page? Yeah, who's better than Jimmy Page? Who's better than Paul Rogers? I don't get Jason Bonham even. I mean, all these guys, Kenny Wayne Shepherd. But listen, it's great talking to you. If people want to get a hold of you, do they just check you out on your you got a .com, right?
Oh, it's all under Fretless Monster, fretlessmonster.com, and then Instagram is Fretless Monster. Same with Twitter. I'm very active. It's all me, and I love to hear from people. So just look up Fretless Monster, and same with YouTube. There's lots of me out there.
Damn, Tony, I really appreciate it. Tell Derek Sherinigan that I said hi, by the way, because he'll freak out. And listen, have a great time. And you got a friend in Florida. If you guys ever come down here, please let us know. And you got anything happening, give us a call.
Hey, I appreciate the time and the opportunity. It's great to catch up with you guys.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day, buddy.
You got it. Okay, yeah, you too. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Well, not uptight, not unattractive. Turn me on tonight, 'cause I'm radioactive. Well, it's not a fight, and I'm not your captive. Turn me loose tonight.